discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/bgunlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Wrathborne Champions. Fun fact, this was a game I backed in 2017 and got it, not this year because it's the beginning of the year, but late-ish in 2019.
God.
I was gonna say because the coin has 2017 on it.
Yep. And I'm not sure. I remember there was a couple Kickstarters that I had that I backed years ago, and then I messaged them and I canceled because I was like, look, I mean, at this point I don't want your game.
You're not gonna give it to me.
So I don't know if this was one that I canceled, or if they were the ones that were like, hey, we can't really do refunds. So I was like, whatever. I mean, money's spent and gone. I don't really care. Regardless, I'm really glad I got this game. This game is a lot of fun.
It is.
Like,
regardless of how hard that fucking brigand was.
Yeah, so this is a very unique game, and there was a reason why I backed it years ago, because it was a cooperative fantasy game, and it was one of those where you actually had to target and fight different sections of a boss. Like, this is multiples of boss fights. You can do, in reality, there's a couple ways you can play the campaign, which is the 3 monsters, the full play, where it just gets increasingly difficult, or the fast play, which is you just fight one boss. And whenever Kat and I first played this, we were like, this is really unique, because you're fighting
depending on where you're sitting.
Yeah, depending on where you're sitting, your cards will attack certain areas, and all the areas do something. Well, not all the areas are 100% unique, but certain areas of the monster you're fighting does something different. And I think that's really cool. Like, that's something that not a lot of RPGs do. It's just normally, hey, here's their health, get it down to 0. So I'm really intrigued by what they were able to do and actually still make every single boss feel different from one another, and also feel fair. Like the 3 that we just fought, the Hill Giant, basically it's like, go for a staff and you'll probably do pretty well. But
fight from the ground up.
Yep. And then he's pretty good. But if you have healers or big damage dealers, then they're going to be taking a lot of hits. Like in his case, the Vulture will be healing anyone who's healing, and then his spear attacks anyone who's dealing damage. And then his other attacks is whittling everyone else.
Fucking critical spearhead.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's just a bunch of different varieties. The pack was unique. There was just a bunch of wolves, but it's like, hey, if you kill them all and he's still alive, you're probably getting one shot.
Yeah.
And then the brigands was, spears, shield towers, and then archers that just peg the person holding the wrath token.
So at our particular, this guy was it was going to deal 32 to whoever had the wrath. That's insane.
Yeah. And so there's a lot. What makes me also like this game is that there's a lot of strategy. We probably would have done better had we kind of communicated a little bit more on what we were able to do. Like, we were just kind of doing what we wanted to. But it's like, okay, here's what I can do. I can attack this way. Can you attack that also corner so we can wipe it? And then therefore it'll do that. We didn't do a whole lot of defending.
We got through the pack, and then when we saw that, I'm like, man, I kind of wish I picked that paladin now.
Yeah, and then there's just so many different combinations of the cards that you can do. I think Kat's character as the assassin, you have some cards that let you flip or rotate your...
Yeah, I do have some cards like that. Too bad that I couldn't get to them.
Oh, because yeah.
Oh, yes, but yeah, I do. Where it's set up in a certain way, but I can orient it however I want to benefit us.
Nimble assassin, rogue.
Yeah. But what's also really cool is that you can pick your class, like your berserker and then the battle axe, what's supposed to go with them. But you can also mix it up. I could be a berserker with dual daggers.
Or a mage with a bow.
Yeah, and that could give you a different combination of how your character might play.
That adds replay value.
Exactly. I mean, you have so many. You have a goblin horde that they just kind of buff each other. And what's really cool is the goblin horde is actually your first fight, your kind of tutorial.
Introduction.
But it also has different levels, like up to level 6, just like the rest of them.
Level 6 goblin horde. Become goblin slayer.
It'd be disgusting because, like, the goblin drummer, actually it changes off the back. The goblin drummer, for example, has an aura. Goblin lackeys do +1 damage, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 lackeys. On the back, he blesses all goblin lackeys.
So, +2.
Yep, and he has 26 health at level 6. And so, I mean, it's like even the tutorial can get pretty disgusting. And that's what's really, really cool about this game is just the fact that it takes a goblin horde.
It doesn't say who made it.
It is... I thought I had it.
You put your damn company on the thingy.
They are... I just don't remember. But...
It's Simon.
Randover Games.
Randover.
But it takes like a goblin horde and actually makes it thematic. In fact, on the back here, it actually has a reference to Goblin Slayer in the very first episode. So you have this goblin troll that right now, okay. Let's see, get out of here.
Like it.
Then you have like a Hydra that just, I mean, the middle action, the Hydra body, revive one Hydra head to full life. You know.
That's
like
what a Hydra does.
Yep.
That's really neat.
A fallen celestial. Harpies. And I really like the artwork that makes it feel like it's a swarm of things.
Yeah, it's like incorporated that it's either it's a massive being,
right,
or it's a collective.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will say, like, okay, well, I'll go through these. So then you have Decaying Dead, an Ember Dragon, and then a Minotaur. So, well, actually, now that I think about it, then you have, well, you have the Hill Giant, that's 1, Minotaur 2, Ember Dragon 3, and then Hydra, or Celestial and Hydra, so 4, 5.
We were talking about it, like...
Never mind. I was going to say, I wish that there was more bigger creatures that had different sections of the body.
And there's, what, 10 altogether?
10, so it's actually
5 and 5.
Yep, so actually it did a good job. It just feels like there's more swarms.
Oh, we did fight 2 out of our 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I have any... Well, okay, what do you guys like? What do you guys like about it? Or don't like?
The battle deck seems just a little odd. Because of, like, well, mostly because all 3 of our characters were high DPS.
That's true.
So, like, a lot of the cards we got was, like, do nothing, do nothing. So it's like, they didn't retaliate.
Yeah.
But then, like, also the fact that each section does different damage. And then you had told me that this is, like, Dragon's Dogma, which I love that game.
Yeah.
And, like, how, like, for instance... When you fight the Chimera in that, the snake does poison, the goat does magic, and then the lion's the brute force that controls the whole body.
Yeah.
And depending on which head you kill first, it changes how the Chimera fights you in the game.
Yep.
So, like, if it gets down to, like, you slay the lion, but the goat then takes control of the body, so the goat jumps around everywhere and does magic, so it's hard to kill. You kill the snake and the goat, the lion's just a ferocious monster the whole time. So this changes, like, especially with the pack. It changed because the more wolves he killed, he was just getting more pissed off.
Yep.
And he would end up dealing a shit ton of damage to you.
Yep. And actually, if you kind of look at it, which I didn't even really notice, so the artwork I think is really, really cool.
Artwork's very good.
For level 1, 2, and 3. On the back, the artwork actually changes. The eyes of the wolves get red.
I noticed that on the goblin one.
Yeah, they all do. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's slight, but, like, it's pretty cool. And, like, now there's like, for him, there's a special rule. An individual wolf is defeated when both its head and body are weakened. So now, there were bodies for that. Never mind. But, like... Now you have to defeat both its head and wolf, and then he does...
The spear is different.
That's what I was wondering.
So he does 2 damage plus 4 damage per defeated wolf at level 6, minus 1 defense per defeated wolf, but the defeated wolf is now its head and its body. So he stays more powerful unless you get its head and body. So
instead of 6 wolves and 1 guy, it's 4 wolves with a body attached to them.
Yep. And I mean that's kind of cool because you have 10 here, and you have 20 because they're different on the other side based off of level 4, 5, and 6.
So like you have 10 sheets, double-sided, so 20, and then there's 6 levels to each of them, so you technically have 120 different scenarios.
Yeah, and then a bunch of different combinations between the characters. It's your 5 generic characters, rogue, cleric. I mean, that's kind of,
cleric, paladin, fighter, enchanter, so on and so forth.
So it is what it is. For that, I know some people might not like that. I don't really care too much because of the versatility.
They're not unique enough.
And then
why doesn't this guy have a blowgun that only shoots air bullets?
What? And then as for your battle deck, I think so. The battle deck doesn't necessarily pertain to them. The reason behind it is just to add randomness to the battle in general. So, like, I like that there was a lot of do nothing and stuff because it would be really annoying if every single time they retaliated or something.
I agree.
I like that at least it's a variety of just like, okay, well, good, nothing happens. Or sometimes it's good for you, sometimes it's bad for you. It does have that versatility.
I wanted that fabled weapon so bad.
Right.
I'm like, what?
Right. And
what could it have been?
That's another pretty... I mean, it would have been provoke. All wrath or flanking attacks are directed at you this turn, regardless of who controls the wrath token. You gain 2 defense.
That is brutal. Let's be glad we didn't draw that card.
Right. Cat?
It's fun. I feel like I don't have much to add after that. I do enjoy it. I remember playing this the first time, and we were both very surprised and impressed with it. The pace is good. You're never really bored. Like, it's not too slow. Even though, like, I happen to just be, kind of keeping track of time. Like, it feels appropriate.
Right.
Like,
I didn't even notice how much time had passed.
Honestly,
until
like,
we were done.
If I had not have been looking, I wouldn't have noticed because it is a fun game. Its pace is just enough.
Yeah, the full game they said it would be 1.5 to 2 hours, and it was 1.5. It was an hour and a half.
It was an hour and a half.
And so they got that right. They did a really good job. I mean, it took them a long time to do it. I think artwork took a lot of it, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was literally like a couple guys getting it done. It's not a company that was doing it.
For a small group of people, you guys made a fucking solid game.
Right.
And I love stuff like that because it turns into a labor of love instead of like a mass produced. Because like there's some things where like with the wolves, when you turn it over to the tougher difficulty side, you can definitely notice. But for the giant, Josh pointed out the spear is different. And then I was like, there's got to be something else. But the vulture's eyes are different as well. Like he's a little more evil looking. I really appreciate.
Yeah, it goes from like
group comes together
from like a stone primitive spear to like this well crafted
like
steel
actual, like,
spear.
Gnarly looking thing, and and the vulture's
like that
eyes go
thing
from black to white.
Right. And do they all have special rules? No, they
sure.
don't. Well, they do based off of the battle deck, which adds like minion abilities. So we didn't get any for the hill giant, but like if we got his like minion special attack level 1, he'd be skewer. His spearhead does +3 damage this turn.
Gotcha. Yeah,
so it's also thematically cool because if you're attacking and you break his spear, then it's like, oh, okay, great. Now he doesn't have a weapon, so it's not going to go. And you can willingly choose that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. My only negative is this rulebook is not that great.
Yeah.
This rulebook is actually kind of it's both all over the place and it's not as clear whenever you're specifically looking up something.
Because we had to look up weakened and defeated.
Exactly. And what they do, which is I personally don't like it this way, so they have your setup and then they have a basic rules. But then they go into explaining what the section is, what the cards mean, what the wound deck is, and then it's like, but I don't even know how to play. Like it's like, so I'm reading all this and I'm like, I don't get what this is referring to, and then I go into the flow of the game. So it just seems kind of all over the place. Then you get into your default actions, and then after that you get into not the states. You get into the complete rules. So it's not the best, the game's not difficult either, but there's times where you're looking at things and you're like, oh crap, so what's that icon mean? And then you're like, well, where is it?
Where's it at? Yeah.
I mean, they have the default actions here. So it tells you what, instead of playing a card, you set, cards down to perform any one of them. Then the enemy advantage, like what happens if you don't remove any, and then the flow of the game. So, I mean, you do have some player aid, it tells you the battle deck there, but there are just certain things that you need to be able to find quickly. And with the rule book, it's just kind of like, wait, so is it within the explanation of what the card is, or is it at the back of in the complete rules, or is it in the basic? Oh god, I can't find it.
Well, the glossary tell me.
And that's that's just kind of the shitty thing of board games in general, is not being able to quickly find something. The best kind of rule books are the ones where you can be like, what do I need to, like, what Fantasy Flight does, they have, and I don't expect every game to do this, but what Fantasy Flight does, they have the basic rules to learn how to play the game, and the rules reference. So if you're like, so how do you move? Oh, rules reference, move. It's all consolidated into that. And so this is just kind of all over the place. It's not terrible for really learning the game, but it just could have been more clear. Other than that, like, production-wise, cards are pretty good. The tokens are shitty, but they're not really used all the time. Like, you're barely adding them, you're barely kind of messing with them a whole lot, so it's not... they're okay. Gems are your standard gems, but other than that, I think it's a really fun monster slaying game. I hope they make expansions. Like, I want more monsters. I want more monsters, even though we literally have only fought 3, and Kat and I just played the basic one a while back with the Goblin Horde. I think there was actually, because you played the assassin, I played the fighter with the sword and shield. Like each character feels unique, which is cool too. So
like being able to look at the top 5 cards, Kat's ability to like switch stuff around,
my ability to take wounds to deal shit ton of damage.
Yeah, you're just all about rage, fucking stab yourself,
right?
And I'm gonna kill you.
Looks like someone's a little lost.
Yeah.
So, and that's just this combination, but I think, honestly, they could make they kind of did a little bit. They could go back on Kickstarter and do like a campaign kind of thing where your characters level up even more. I think the neatness of these, like the Fabled cards, are pretty cool. But at the same time, I think what they could do with a campaign is that your character levels up as his own.
Yeah.
Like, you're not leveling up and I'm like, all of a sudden I have a bow. It's like, okay, like, why? I guess we'll give this to me. Like, I think you can even succinct it a little bit more, make your own special characters, and then also still have a lot of really cool bosses to fight. And I don't know. Even though we lost against the Brigands,
I had a blast the whole time.
Yeah, like there were definitely some mistakes we could have made. We could have communicated even more. Like, whenever we lost, it wasn't like the game's unfair.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
It was more like, well, we never defended ourselves. We never healed.
We didn't prepare ourselves.
We didn't communicate, and
we deserve to die.
Yeah. So whenever it's like, well, the snipers are all attacking us, it's like, well, we could have defended, or we could have.
We got cocky with the giant. We were like, "Go fuck this."
Yep. And then the wolves were like dragging ourselves into like the brigands' lair, and we're like, "What the fuck are wolves doing out there?" And then they're just like, and then just basically slaughtered us.
The flip side of this is that the guys have helmets.
They have erections.
Yes. And on this side, they don't have helmets on.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's small, but yeah, I think if they do plan on doing expansions, they could be really, really clever with it.
They could add more classes. They could add
definitely more classes. More weapons. Statuses are fine. I think the amount of statuses there are perfectly. That's a good amount. Like.
Level 6 Ember Dragon. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, you have the 2 different sides, which is still cool, but like maybe something for different actual individual levels. That might make it a little bit more complicated. But yeah. The fact that level 1, 2, and 3 is literally the same, except they just have more health and do more damage. Like, something that gives them maybe, at level 2 they have this level 2 power, level 3 they have this level... Just kind of make them even a little bit more...
The way they made it just grindier.
Yeah.
With the harder levels.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
But I think for an hour and a half game coming in and just quickly, hour and a half, just going through three bosses, and it got more difficult because they went, it was weaker, then R equal, then one level higher, but we leveled up each time, potential to level up more through the battle deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm very surprised with this game and how it turned out. So I think it's a good thing that we all just want more content.
Indeed.
Yeah, instead of more to the game, like we did with others that we've played before, where it's like, okay, this game is blah, this one is not. So, you guys got anything else?
I do not.
Next time we should play with the Fog of War. Actually, funny enough, in the full game, if you were playing with 6 players by your level 3, you have to play with the Fog of War.
So we can't communicate.
Yep. If you're playing with 6 players, you may repeat a level 6 encounter or advance to using the Fog of War rules as described in the optional rules. Yep. So
I do think this would have been better with a 4th player.
I agree. Because then you would have someone who would be coming from the top. And it plays up to where is it? Oh, the insert's actually really good too. That's another praise to them. It plays up to 6. So you can have multiple people coming at, but then they start at level 5 and then at 6, and then if your third fight in a full game is either you do another level 6 or you do a fight with a Fog of War.
Say my RPG background always makes me feel like you need 4 people in a party for it to feel good.
Yeah.
3's doable, but
yeah, you have your sorcerer, tank, rogue, and then a healer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's not bad with 3.
No,
it's actually not bad with 2 either.
It was a blast with 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun with 2, I will say.
So yeah, scale of 1 to 10. Josh.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
An 8?
That's what I was gonna give it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna give it an 8. I don't think the rulebook, it does what it does. We know how to play. It's just kind of it could be improved upon, but other than that, I think the game is solid.
Oh yeah.
So, I want more! I don't know who designed this game. I can actually look that up real quick in case they happen to watch it. So let's see. Because I feel like it didn't get a lot of buzz. I don't remember seeing anything.
Well, if it was made or had started a Kickstarter 3 years ago and it just started going out last year, it probably lost a lot of steam.
That's true. Has a 7.7 on Board Game Geek, but it was designed by Casey McCormick and Ben Steers, so Randover Games. So yeah, and Ruck Trumata did the art.
Well,
so Casey and Ben, if you guys happen to see this, do more expansions, give us more bosses, and tell a story. But I do have this mouse pad.
That's pretty neat.
So that was kind of a Kickstarter.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, it's the player mat.
Well,
It's a player mat.
Yeah.
No, it's a mouse pad. And I think I have I have an art still. It's basically this, the box cover without the the Wrathborne Champions in the middle. But yeah, so 8s across the board. We really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's Wrathborne Champions, everyone. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.